young actors these days. Asking them to spend 3 months in special training, isn't that a joke? Lin Feng said with a smile. We can use stunt doubles, Ye Xiaoyu said at this moment. We can use stunt doubles for the back, but what about the front? Lin Feng asked. We can use slow motion, Ye Xiaoyu said without thinking. Get lost. Lin Feng chuckled, scolding him. I have ambitions for this script. This drama is the first production from Vanishing Stars. It must be a huge hit. It needs to become the benchmark for martial arts dramas in the industry, so all actors must have a certain foundation. As for acting skills, they can be developed gradually. They can learn slowly. I understand what you mean, Brother Lin. After school starts, Xiao Fan and I will go to the art academy to find suitable actors. Sun Y nodded and said to Lin Feng. Also, regarding the investment, you can talk to the Jiangji Tourism and Culture Bureau. After all, Yuchen Palace, 10 Mile Gallery, and Jingxi Inn are all famous attractions in Jiangji. We're essentially providing free promotion for them, Lin Feng said with a smile. And so, the meal lasted for nearly 2 hours. After dinner, Sun Y and Ye Xiaoyu went back to prepare for filming to begin in the spring of next year. Night fell, and the city lights twinkled. The largest hall of a hotel was bustling with activity. This hall could easily accommodate more than 200 tables with room to spare, and at this moment, it was packed to capacity. With the new year approaching, the Ye Group company held its annual meeting here. As usual, Ye Xiaoyu served as the host, announcing the start of the annual meeting. The event began with Ye Xiaoyu, as the boss, taking the stage to give a speech. You know, Ye Xiaoyu seemed to particularly enjoy public speaking. She spoke for over 10 minutes without repeating herself. This is a common trait among all bosses. This is also why some company employees dislike attending annual meetings. They're about to go on holiday for the new year, yet they still have to attend a meeting and listen to their leader's lecture. Who can stand that? After Ye Xiaoyu's speech concluded, the fun began. Each department took turns performing, and from time to time, Ye Xiaoyu would send out red envelopes in the company's group chat. Typically, the maximum limit for fakes in red envelopes is 200 yuan, but as the new year approaches, the limit increases to 1,000 yuan. Ye Xiaoyu usually sends out red envelopes in batches of 10, and not just in the head office's group chat, but also in the branch office's group chats. This is a benefit for the company's employees. Ye Xiaoyu once calculated for Ye Xiaoyu that the total amount of red envelopes Ye Xiaoyu distributed each time reached over 5 million yuan. He didn't know how she managed to handle the limit issue. A raffle was held every hour, with 103rd place prizes consisting of 1 month's paid leave and a 20,000 yuan supermarket shopping card. There were 52nd place prizes, each an automobile worth about 200,000 yuan. Of course, if an employee already owned a car, they could opt for the cash equivalent. There were 10 first place prizes, each a cash prize of 500,000 yuan. The special prize also varied depending on the annual performance. Last year, the employee who won the special prize received a convertible sports car worth several million yuan, and this year, it is said that the performance was 30% higher than last year, so the special prize is even more generous. This is the confidence of a large company, and it is also Ye Xiaoyu's way of encouraging the company's employees to contribute even more to the company in the coming year. The Ye Group's year-end raffle has always been widely rumored in the industry, and even the TV station in the Magic City has reported on it several times. There's no foul play. Every employee holds a number and then staff prepare a box. Whoever's number is drawn wins the corresponding prize. They are just and open. Every year, Ye Xiaoyu spends a significant amount of money on the year-end raffle. Lin Feng once summarized it as rich and willful. The performances continued, and the vice presidents of national branch companies also took the stage to give speeches during breaks. These speeches mostly informed all employees, including Ye Xiaoyu, of the branch company's turnover from the previous year. Following that was the raffle, which was the moment the employees below were most eager for. The third place prize had the most winners, 100 people, so the chances of winning were quite high. As the winning numbers were announced one by one, even though it was only a third place prize, those who heard their numbers called out were ecstatic. The performances continued one after another. Ye Xiaoyu had drunk quite a bit by this point, but people kept coming to toast her. I say, brothers and sisters, Ye Group drank the sales department's wine. Shouldn't we drink the brand department's wine? A brand department president loudly asked the brand department employees. No, absolutely not, the brand department employees immediately chimed in. It was only at times like these that they dared to joke with Ye Xiaoyu in such a harmless way. Everyone, I truly cannot drink anymore. How about this? I'll send another 10,000 yuan in red envelopes to the brand department employees, and you'll let me off the hook, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. The entire venue was filled with laughter and joy. It is said that an employee who had just recently joined the headquarters managed to grab more in red envelopes that night than his half-year salary. All right, everyone, quiet down. Now let's move on to the most exciting part. Let's enter the final round of the raffle. The atmosphere was already incredibly lively. After the performances from various departments, some slightly tipsy employees even went directly on stage and sang a few songs. Although the singing wasn't good, the atmosphere was at its peak, and Ye Xiaoyu also felt that the mood had reached its climax. It was time for the final round of the raffle. The final round of the raffle was for this year's special prize. Everyone, this year's special prize from the company is incredibly generous. It's a 200 square meter unfurnished apartment in the center of Magic City, valued at 17 million yuan. As Ye Xiaoyu's words came out, everyone let out an incredulous sound. They truly hadn't expected Ye Xiaoyu to be so generous this year, actually splurging tens of millions to buy an apartment in the city center as the ultimate special prize. Oh my god, the city center! Whoever wins later must thank me, because it was I who got Ye Group drunk, and that's why Ye Group gave out such a special prize. Ye Xiaoyu teased Ye Xiaoyu at this moment, immediately drawing laughter from those around her. Don't listen to her nonsense. Ye Xiaoyu quickly waved her hand and shouted loudly. All right, no more idle talk. Let Ye Group personally draw this special prize for everyone, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile at this moment. So, let's welcome Ye Group to the stage with applause to draw this final grand prize for us. Immediately, the entire hall erupted in a commotion, and Ye Xiaoyu returned to the stage at this moment. Ye Group, how are you? Do you have anything to say before the draw? Ye Xiaoyu handed the microphone to Ye Xiaoyu. To be honest, a house worth over 10 million yuan. I'm feeling a bit pained right now. Why did I ever choose this as the special prize? Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. But no matter who wins later, I just hope you can continue working for the company. If you win the grand prize and then quit right away, I'll lose a lot of face. This remark immediately drew a burst of laughter from the crowd. I also want to add something. When the winning employee comes on stage to receive their prize later, no matter what, please do not hug our Ye Group, as our Ye Group is already married. Of course, if you're handsome, you can hug me since I'm not married yet, Ye Xiaoyu teased. Shall I start drawing now? Ye Xiaoyu asked with a smile, while the audience below held their breath, watching Ye Xiaoyu on stage. Finally, a slip of paper was drawn by Ye Xiaoyu. Ye Group, will you announce it or shall I? Ye Xiaoyu asked tentatively. You do it, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Then, I'll begin. Ye Xiaoyu took the slip of paper, glanced at everyone, and then began to announce. The person who won the special prize is. Everyone below held their breath. The person who won the special prize is number 679. As the number was called out, employee number 679 immediately shrieked. This was a woman in her 40s, who was now excitedly covering her mouth with both hands, tears streaming down her face uncontrollably. All right, please welcome our big sister to the stage, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Number 679 stumbled onto the main stage. Big sister, although you are a woman, our Ye Group's husband is extremely jealous, and cannot even accept a hug from a woman, so please hug me instead, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile, then gave the big sister a big hug. Big sister, which department are you from? Ye Xiaoyu asked at this moment. The big sister was already incoherent at this moment. All right, calm down. Ye Xiaoyu patted the big sister's back to help her compose herself. I'm from the cleaning company, hygiene department, the big sister said in not so fluent Mandarin. Oh, from the cleaning department, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Congratulations, big sister, this special prize is yours. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu took out the property deed for the apartment, wrote the big sister's name on it on the spot, and personally handed it over to the big sister along with the keys. Thank you, Ye Group, the big sister said, about to hug Ye Xiaoyu. Hey, Hey, big sister, didn't I tell you? Ye group's husband is very petty, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Don't listen to her nonsense. Ye Xiaoyu playfully hit Ye Xiaoyu, then took the microphone and said with a smile, my husband is petty, but not as petty as Xiaoyu says. Then Ye Xiaoyu hugged the big sister, who thanked her several more times before returning to her seat. After Ye Xiaoyu stepped off the stage, Ye Xiaoyu continued to host. All right, the exciting lottery draw has ended. Now we welcome our final grand performance. Ye Xiaoyu came to the center of the stage at this moment, her sexy red dress very alluring. Everyone knows that I am not only someone's secretary and assistant, but also someone's part-time driver. Ye Xiaoyu didn't name names here, but everyone knew who Ye Xiaoyu was talking about. Do you know how tiring it is to be a driver for this someone? Every day I arrive at her house at 7 o'clock, and at 7, before I've even had breakfast, someone will invite me in to eat breakfast together. At this point, some people might say, it's good that the driver even gets breakfast provided. But what you don't know is that this someone and her someone really spread dog food first thing in the morning. I'd only eaten one bun for breakfast before I was full. Why? Because I was full from eating their dog food. Ye Xiaoyu's words made everyone burst into laughter, and Ye Xiaoyu was even a little embarrassed. Good heavens, letting me eat breakfast was fake. Letting me watch them spread dog food was real, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Do you know what it feels like for a single person like me to watch them frantically spread dog food in front of me every morning? Ye Xiaoyu asked, looking around at everyone. It doesn't matter if you don't know, you'll find out later. Now, let's give a round of applause and welcome Lin Feng to bring us a wonderful performance. With that, Ye Xiaoyu stepped off the stage, and the main stage went completely dark. Like a child relying on a shoulder, like a poet relying on the moon. You are like an angel giving me hugs and me relying on you. Like tears relying on a face, like a dolphin relying on the ocean. You are an angel, you are an angel, you are the only starlight in my eyes. As the melodious sound began, all the lights on the main stage came on. At this moment, Lin Feng was in the center of the stage, playing the piano and singing the song Angel. Till the moment Lin Feng appeared, all the young employees screamed. Hello everyone, Lin Feng waved to the crowd, eliciting a burst of cheers. That was Lin Feng, the hottest male singer in the music industry right now. And in the half year since his debut, Lin Feng's live performances have been few and far between. At the end of this year's annual meeting, Ye Xiaoyu actually invited Lin Feng, which naturally made them excited. You are my angel, my protecting angel. From now on, I will no longer have sorrow. You are my angel who brings me joy. I have even learned to fly. Before Lin Feng even opened his mouth, a massive chorus had already erupted at the scene. The song Angel is too classic, although its online play count can't compare to Phenomenon. Level songs like Blue and White Porcelain and As Wish, its play count is still incredibly high. Flying over the impermanence of the human world, I finally understand that love is a treasure. No matter how the world changes, as long as I have you, it will be paradise. Everyone together! Lin Feng shouted loudly during the chorus, and thus the audience once again joined in a massive sing-along. Among them Ye Xiaoyu was singing the loudest. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu was on the side of the main stage, clapping and singing along. Just one song, Angel, had already brought the atmosphere to a climax. After one song, Lin Feng continued to play the piano. Love is like a gust of wind, it blows, and then it's gone. This kind of rhythm, no one can do anything about it. Isn't this Deng Xiaofeng's Tornado? Someone quickly recognized that Lin Feng was now singing Deng Xiaofeng's Tornado. Without you my soul loses control. Dark clouds are falling, I'm being dragged by them. Quietly, silently leaving, falling to the edge of danger, baby. My world is already a storm. Lin Feng's Tornado was still somewhat different from Deng Xiaofeng's version, but it was just as good. Soon, everyone joined Lin Feng in a full, then you sing, along. Below, Ye Xiaoyu was also clapping and singing along. If she had to say which of Deng Xiaofeng's songs she liked the most, it was this Tornado. Now, Lin Feng's reinterpretation was also quite good. 1234. Everybody put your hands up, Sunshine Boy. After Tornado was sung, it was immediately followed by Sunshine Boy. The atmosphere on site also reached its climax at this moment. All the young employees stood up, disregarding their superiors, and all surged towards the stage. Let us ride the sun, surf the sea, and catch our eye. Don't be afraid to show your chest, sweat a little, and you'll be a hottie. The entire hall was filled with screams, one after another, as if they were going to blow the roof off the entire hall. Let the beauties gasp for air, lean on your shoulder, I smile beside you holding an umbrella. When the last line was sung, Lin Feng's last note also stopped. Lin Feng, Lin Feng, Lin Feng. The young employees in the hall began to frantically scream Lin Feng's name. It was as if Lin Feng was holding a concert. Screams, accompanied by this ear-piercing shriek. Lin Feng had already performed 3 songs in a row. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu, like a joyful little bird, once again leaped onto the stage and loudly shouted with all her might. Her clear and resonant voice instantly spread throughout the entire performance venue, like a single stone stirring up 1,000 ripples, triggering wave after wave of thunderous cheers and applause from the audience. Ye Xiaoyu, with a radiant smile, walked up to Lin Feng, then extended a slender, fair hand and gently hooked his arm, asking coyly, "He, do you think it's okay if I call you brother-in-law now?" After speaking, she playfully blinked her bright, expressive eyes, a hint of expectation and curiosity in her gaze. Seeing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but smile slightly. He gently replied, "When we're working, it's better if we address each other by our professional titles. After all, this is a work setting, and we need to maintain a certain level of professionalism." Then, he turned his head slightly, looked at Ye Xiaoyu and continued, "And also, even though I am your brother-in-law, please don't casually hook your arm around me like this. Your sister isn't particularly magnanimous, so be careful she doesn't make things difficult for you in your work next year." By the end, Lin Feng still wore that faint smile, making him seem both approachable and dignified. "Sister, if I hug brother-in-law like this, will you get jealous?" Ye Xiaoyu asked Ye Xiaoyu, who was in the audience, while hugging Lin Feng tightly, disbelievingly. "You just wait for next year," Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. It's confirmed. My sister's magnanimity is about the same as yours, brother-in-law," Ye Xiaoyu said, releasing Lin Feng and then continuing. "Today is our Ye Group's annual meeting, and you are now considered part of the Ye Group family. Don't you have anything to give to our employees here?" Ye Xiaoyu asked with a smile. Before Lin Feng could answer, Ye Xiaoyu continued, "So everyone, please don't throw away the raffle tickets you received today. If Lin Feng holds a concert this year, then employees holding this ticket can enter Lin Feng's concert anytime. What do you all say, is that good?" "Good," the employees shouted loudly, "truly a great benefit." "That's not right, I'm performing for your annual meeting without pay and now I have to pay out of my own pocket. Why do I feel so dizzy?" Lin Feng laughed. "No choice, who told you to snatch away our boss?" "All right, I hereby guarantee that as long as you hold these raffle tickets, if I hold a concert in the new year, you can all enter my concert venue." At this point, Lin Feng paused and continued, "Not only my concerts, but all singers under our Fengxing Entertainment Company can watch concerts for free." Lin Feng paused once again, for example, Wang Xinyu. Woe tilde the venue erupted. Kai Yilin. Another round of applause. Hey Kai Baba. All the female staff had already started screaming. Luo Jixing. Screams once again boiled over. Deng Zifend. The venue was almost exploding. These were all the hottest singers currently, and if they were to hold concerts, it would truly be difficult to get a ticket. But now, by just holding today's raffle ticket, they could watch their concerts for free for a year. This year-end benefit was truly quite generous. "All right, now let's hand the stage back to Lin Feng," Ye Xiaoyu said at this moment, then once again stepped off the stage. "For the next song, I hope everyone can sing along with me, okay?" Lin Feng said with a smile, holding the microphone on stage and looking at everyone. "Okay!" The enthusiastic staff responded to Lin Feng. Immediately after, the prelude to Rice Fragrance began. "If you have too many complaints about this world," Lin Feng just started, and then extended the microphone in his hand towards the staff. And so, a grand chorus began. Not only the young staff, but also some employees in their 40s and 50s sang along, because this song was too classic, appealing to both men and women, young and old. Even some 70-year-old uncles would hum a few lines of rice fragrance. Finally, with the song Sunny Day, Lin Feng's performance successfully concluded. These two songs were truly easy. He just started, and the people below sang along themselves, as if it were their performance, and Lin Feng was just there to accompany them. At this moment, Lin Feng finally understood why those very popular singers loved holding concerts so much. Goodness, he didn't even have to sing many lines, the rest of the fans would help him finish the song. A concert could be a blast without him getting red-faced or out of breath. He could even do another one. There was once a news story about a young man who finally managed to get a ticket to King Ju's concert. Before the concert began, the young man was incredibly excited, but after the concert ended he cried. This scene was coincidentally seen by a reporter, who asked the young man why he was crying, if he was too excited. The young man with snot and tears said, "I came to watch King Ju's concert, but the group of obnoxious women around me, with their terrible voices, sang from beginning to end. I didn't hear a single sound from King Ju during the entire concert. I only heard those obnoxious women singing." At this point, some people asked, why can't those idol groups and young male idols hold concerts? There are two reasons. For example, when Xiao Zhan holds a concert, among his fans in the audience, there are screams when Xiao Zhan starts, but no fans sing along. After all, even though these fans are Xiao Zhan's die-hard fans don't necessarily mean they have no artistic pursuits. Xiao Zhan would jump and dance throughout a concert, getting as tired as a dog. Fans below, however, would scream incessantly. If someone were to ask them which songs Xiao Zhan sang at the concert, "I don't know, I just know Xiao Zhan is so handsome and warm." After all, Xiao Zhan's songs are terrible, even his fans don't want to listen to them. After his performance, Lin Feng rested alone in the room. After about half an hour, Ye Xiaoyu opened the door and walked in. Without many words, the two embraced and kissed. However, after only a short while, someone knocked on the door from outside. "Sister, brother-in-law, stop being so lovey-dovey. If you want to be lovey-dovey, can you do it at home?" Ye Xiaotong's emotionless voice came from outside the door. Soon, the door opened and Ye Xiaoyu and Lin Feng walked out. Ye Xiaoyu walked in front, while Ye Xiaotong pulled Lin Feng's arm and said with a smile, "How was it, brother-in-law? I didn't interrupt your good time with my sister, did I?" "You little rascal," Lin Feng tapped Ye Xiaotong's head. "Lin Feng, come here and look. What do you think of this outfit?" Today, Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu woke up early. They took advantage of the stores still being open and bought many things. By the time they returned, it was already past 4 in the afternoon. After returning home, the two quickly tidied up their attire. Ye Xiaoyu, dressed in a snow-white down jacket, stood straight in front of Lin Feng, her face full of anticipation as she asked him. Lin Feng turned his head at her voice, his gaze falling on the beautiful white down jacket on Ye Xiaoyu. The corners of his mouth curved slightly into a gentle smile, and he said softly, "It looks absolutely stunning. Our Xiaoyu is simply a natural clothes hanger. No matter what style or color of clothes she wears, she looks good." Hearing Lin Feng's words of praise, a sweet joy welled up in Ye Xiaoyu's heart. She giggled happily, her laughter clear and melodious like silver bells, echoing in the room. Then, Ye Xiaoyu gracefully walked to the dressing table, picked up a comb, and carefully combed her long, dark, straight hair, which cascaded like a waterfall, skillfully tying it into a high ponytail. Afterward, she turned and picked out a pair of cute snow boots from the shoe cabinet, carefully putting them on. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu looked both fresh and refined, full of youthful vitality, completely different from her previous attire. She didn't wear any expensive jewelry. Ye Xiaoyu only wore some simple, very neat accessories. Lin Feng's attire, on the other hand, looked quite plain and ordinary. If someone unfamiliar with him were to glance at him, they would certainly find it difficult to associate him with the hottest and most popular singer of the moment. As for Ye Xiaoyu, who stood beside him, she was equally surprisingly low-key. One didn't know her true identity. Who would have thought that this seemingly ordinary woman was a powerful businesswoman, the esteemed female CEO of the Ye Group? This time, returning home with Lin Feng, Ye Xiaoyu had put in a lot of effort. To avoid bringing any psychological burden or pressure to Lin Feng and his family, she had specially chosen a very simple and rustic outfit. The down jacket she wore was one she had personally bought at the mall a few days ago, costing only about 700 yuan. The snow boots she wore were even more affordable, costing only 100 yuan a pair. Once everything was ready and they were about to lock the door, Ye Xiaoyu confirmed with Lin Feng once more. Lin Feng, have all the gifts for your parents and your sister been put in the car? Lin Feng responded with a smile, don't worry, I've loaded them all into the car. But Xiaoyu, look at all these bags, aren't you buying a bit too much? As he spoke, Lin Feng skillfully started the car engine. This car was also given to Lin Feng by Ye Xiaoyu previously, costing around 100,000 yuan. They did not drive Ye Xiaoyu's luxury car. Oh right, we are husband and wife now. When we get to my house, you need to call my parents dad and mom, Lin Feng said to Ye Xiaoyu while driving. I know. Hearing Lin Feng say this, Ye Xiaoyu's cheeks flushed slightly, and she said in a low voice. The car quickly left the city center and headed out of the magic city. Ye Xiaoyu hummed a song while looking at the scenery around her. After leaving the magic city and driving for about another half an hour, the two arrived at the town where Lin Feng's parents lived. Because it was New Year's Eve, there were no stalls outside at this time. Everyone was preparing to go home for the new year. The spring festival couplets on the houses by the roadside had long been put up, and at this moment, some children were setting off firecrackers by the road. Hey you, we're almost there, about 10 more minutes. Come to the door to pick us up and help us with some things. At this moment, Lin Feng's phone rang. It was Lin Yu calling. After more than 10 minutes, Lin Feng's car slowly pulled up to the entrance of his home. At this time, Lin Yu, Father Lin, and Mother Lin were already waiting outside for Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu. Dad, Mom, Happy New Year! Lin Feng got out of the car and called out to Father Lin and Mother Lin. Hello Dad, Mom, my name is Ye Xiaoyu. You can also call me Xiaoyu. Happy New Year! Ye Xiaoyu also called out softly, a slight blush appearing on her face, looking a little embarrassed. Good. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Looking at their daughter-in-law, Father Lin and Mother Lin were still a bit reserved. After all, Ye Xiaoyu's status was significant. Dad, Mom, you two take Xiaoyu inside first, it's cold outside, Lin Feng said with a smile to Father Lin and Mother Lin at this moment. Okay big brother, Lin Yu said softly at this moment, then took Ye Xiaoyu's hand and said with a smile, Sister-in-law, let's go inside first. Xiaoyu, you two go inside first, I'll get the things, Lin Feng said with a smile to Ye Xiaoyu. Ye Xiaoyu cast a pleading look at Lin Feng, meaning for him to come in quickly. After Ye Xiaoyu and Father Lin and Mother Lin went inside, Lin Yu came out again to help Lin Feng carry the purchased items into the house. Oh right, Dad, Mom, these are the things I bought for you, Ye Xiaoyu quickly said at this moment. These are some health supplements, Dad. You just had surgery and I consulted with someone, eating these is best. Ye Xiaoyu took the bag from Lin Feng's hand and said with a smile. And this is for measuring blood pressure and blood sugar, and this, I bought you a few new clothes, and this Ye Xiaoyu said as she took the bags from Lin Feng's hand one by one. Oh right, I also ordered 2 massage chairs for you, someone will deliver them after the new year, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. Xiaoyu, you're too kind. Father Lin and Mother Lin looked at Ye Xiaoyu buying so many things for them, appearing a bit flustered. Dad, Mom, why are you calling her Xiaoyu? She's your daughter-in-law, just call her Xiaoyu, Lin Feng said with a laugh. He then took the bags and put them in his parents' room. Oh right, your sister-in-law also bought some things for you, Lin Feng said with a smile at this moment. This is the laptop and the latest model phone your sister-in-law bought for you, Lin Feng said with a smile. And these pieces of jewelry, but you can only wear them after you go to university, so I'll give them to Dad and Mom to keep for now. And these clothes, these are all brands from your sister-in-law's company. Try them on later to see if they fit, Lin Feng said with a smile. Wow, thank you, sister-in-law. Lin Yu was so happy she almost jumped on the spot. Xiaoyu, it's enough that you two are back, why buy so many things? We don't even use them, Mother Lin said with a smile at this moment. It's fine, Mom, just accept them. Lin Feng also laughed. Mom, is dinner ready? We're both hungry. Mom, is dinner ready yet? My stomach's already rumbling, Lin Feng called out to the kitchen, a wide smile on his face. As he spoke, he gently rubbed his stomach with his hand, as if he were truly starving. At this moment, Mother Lin's gentle voice came from the kitchen. It's ready, children, come and sit down. I'll just heat up the soup again and we can eat right away. Soon after, Mother Lin emerged from the kitchen, carrying a steaming bowl of soup, a kind smile gracing her face, making her seem especially warm. The dining table wasn't laden with exotic delicacies or expensive dishes, it was simply an array of ordinary home-cooked meals. There was fragrant braised pork, fried beef with vegetables, braised chicken pieces, scrambled eggs with tomatoes and fish balls. Although the dishes were simple, each one looked incredibly appetizing, and the drinks on the side were the common, inexpensive bottles of Coke and Sprite. Xiaoyu, I'm really sorry, today we only prepared these simple home-cooked dishes to entertain you. I hope you don't mind, Father Lin said to Ye Xiaoyu, a hint of apology in his tone. After all, it was her first time visiting, and he felt the food was a bit too humble. However, Ye Xiaoyu quickly shook her head and replied with a smile, No, Dad, you're too polite. This is already very lavish. After speaking, she playfully blinked her eyes, looking incredibly cute. Just then, Lin Feng considerately picked up his chopsticks and placed a large lion's head meatball into Ye Xiaoyu's bowl, saying softly, Here, Xiaoyu, try this lion's head meatball. It's a recipe from our hometown, you definitely haven't had it before, and it tastes really good. Ye Xiaoyu nodded slightly, expressing her thanks, then took a small bite. Instantly, her beautiful big eyes lit up, and she couldn't help but exclaim, Wow, it's so delicious. Seeing Ye Xiaoyu's enjoyment, Lin Feng, Father Lin, and Mother Lin exchanged smiles, and the entire house was filled with a warm and joyful atmosphere. This lion's head meatball was completely different from what she had eaten before. The ones she had eaten previously, no matter how they were prepared, were always a bit greasy and lacked chewiness, but this one was very chewy, and most importantly, not greasy at all. This is completely different from what I've eaten before, Ye Xiaoyu said, her eyes sparkling. Naturally, the lion's head meatballs in restaurants are made purely from meat. Ours are different. They have green onions, ginger, and glutinous rice in addition to the minced meat, so they're not as greasy, Lin Feng explained, picking up another one for Ye Xiaoyu. Delicious. Mom's cooking is much better than yours, Ye Xiaoyu said to Lin Feng as she ate. If it's good, eat more. Father Lin and Mother Lin kept putting food into Ye Xiaoyu's bowl. The atmosphere at the dinner table quickly became lively, with everyone chatting and laughing as they enjoyed their New Year's Eve dinner. By the time dinner was over, it was already past 8 in the evening. After dinner, Ye Xiaoyu was enthusiastically pulled by Lin Yu into the courtyard outside. Lin Yu had already bought fireworks, and was ready to set them off together. It's worth noting that setting off fireworks is strictly prohibited in the bustling city center, but once you step outside the town limits of Magic City, the restrictions on fireworks are much looser. It was quite strange. Ye Xiaoyu had grown into an adult, yet she had never experienced setting off fireworks by herself. At this moment, she was wearing a snow-white down jacket, like a fresh snow lotus in winter. She not only had her hat pulled down tightly over her head, but her hands were also covered with warm gloves, and a thick scarf was wrapped snugly around her neck. She carefully held a slender incense stick in her hand, as if it were a priceless treasure. Meanwhile, inside the house, Father Lin was comfortably seated on the sofa, engrossed in watching the Spring Festival gala. Lin Feng and Mother Lin were sitting side by side, skillfully rolling round glutinous rice balls, occasionally glancing at the exciting television program. Lin Feng's gaze inadvertently swept towards the window, just in time to see Lin Yu had already arranged the colorful fireworks, waiting only for the fuse to be lit, before they would soar into the sky and burst into brilliance. However, what was amusing was that Ye Xiaoyu, holding the incense stick, moved as slowly as a snail, gradually extending it towards the fuse. Minutes passed, a whole minute went by, and the incense stick was still a considerable distance from the fuse. Seeing this, the impatient Lin Yu couldn't hold back and blurted out, Sister-in-law, why don't I help you set them off? But Ye Xiaoyu's attitude was as firm as iron. She resolutely replied, No, this time, I absolutely must set them off myself. Before she finished speaking, she once again brought the incense stick to her mouth and gently blew on it a few times. Then, she took a deep breath, mustered her courage again, and slowly brought the incense stick closer to the long-awaited fuse. Ye Xiaoyu was really both timid and eager to play this round. Sizzle tilde the fuse, finally lit with difficulty. Ye Xiaoyu threw the incense stick from her hand and quickly ran to the doorway. This series of actions was truly adorable. Fireworks bloomed in the sky, and Ye Xiaoyu was very proud. Those were the ones Ye Xiaoyu had set off. After about 5 minutes, the large fireworks were finished. Lin Yu then took out more than a dozen handheld fireworks. After lighting them, Ye Xiaoyu and Lin Yu ran around the courtyard, waving their hands. "It's so much fun, so much fun." At this moment Ye Xiaoyu no longer resembled a powerful female Xiao, she was no different from a child. "Xiaoyu, come over, Teacher Guo is on." Lin Feng called out to Ye Xiaoyu outside, as he needed the glutinous rice balls. Coming. Ye Xiaoyu threw the spent fireworks on the ground, and then she and Lin Yu went into the house. All the artists from Fangxing Entertainment Company, except for Lin Feng, appeared on the Spring Festival Gala. Guo Gang and Yu Qian also performed crosstalk for the first time on the Spring Festival Gala. The crosstalk was titled The Prodigal Son, and the script was written by Lin Feng. The family was roaring with laughter. Ye Xiaoyu, looking at the glutinous rice balls in Lin Feng and Mother Lin's hands, couldn't help but feel a little curious. "What are you making these for?" "Of course, to eat tomorrow morning," Lin Feng said with a smile. "In our hometown, these are called duanzi, meaning reunion." "Isn't New Year's Eve when families gather to make dumplings?" Ye Xiaoyu asked, a bit confused. "That's a custom in the Northeast. Our hometown doesn't have the custom of eating dumplings for New Year's," Lin Feng said with a smile. Once all the tangyuan were meticulously rolled, the family gathered on the spacious and comfortable sofa, chatting happily about daily life, sharing anecdotes and warm memories, while excitedly watching the splendid Spring Festival Gala. Laughter echoed, and a strong sense of family filled the entire living room. Time slipped away silently, like the blink of an eye, and the clock hands already pointed to midnight. At this moment, everyone's faces showed a hint of weariness. Seeing this, Lin Feng slowly stood up and said with a smile to his parents, "Father Lin, Mother Lin, it's really late, you should go to bed early. I'll go out and set off the firecrackers first, and then I'll go back to my room to sleep." After speaking, he stretched, loosening his slightly stiff body. Father Lin and Mother Lin exchanged glances, nodded gently and replied, "All right, Lin Feng, and Ye Xiaoyu, don't stay up too late either." With that, they helped each other into the bedroom, ready to end the day's joyous time and enter sweet dreams. Lin Feng quickly walked outside the door and carefully took out the firecrackers he had prepared earlier. Accompanied by a crackling sound, colorful fireworks bloomed in the sky, like blossoming flowers, decorating the dark night sky like a dream. A festive atmosphere instantly permeated the surroundings, followed by a series of firecracker sounds, as families celebrating New Year's Eve set off firecrackers to bid farewell to the old year and welcome the new. After setting off the firecrackers, Lin Feng turned and went back inside, walking up the stairs with Ye Xiaoyu to their room on the second floor. Pushing open the door, the first thing that came into view was a spacious and bright bedroom. In the center of the room was a large, soft double bed, with thick, neatly folded quilts on the pristine white bedding, looking exceptionally warm and comfortable. The walls were adorned with exquisite wallpaper, with fresh and elegant patterns that gave a sense of tranquility and comfort. The floor was covered with smooth and bright wooden floorboards, which made a slight creaking sound when walked upon, like a pleasant melody. In addition, the room also housed brand new cabinets and other furniture, everything appearing well organized. One side of the room was adjacent to the bathroom, making it convenient for immediate use. Ye Xiaoyu and Lin Feng entered the bathroom one after another and began to wash up carefully. After washing up, they both changed into loose pajamas, and when they faced each other again, they couldn't help but feel a little awkward. After all, this was their first time being so close in the same room, and the air seemed to be filled with a subtle and tense atmosphere. Although the two were nominally husband and wife, they were not yet married. Strictly speaking, they were only dating. "Why don't you sleep on the bed, and I'll sleep on the floor?" Lin Feng said softly, then opened the cabinet. However, he found that there were no extra quilts inside. Looking at the newly changed sheets and quilt on the bed, Ye Xiaoyu's cheeks were slightly flushed, and she said in a low voice, "Why don't we just sleep together? But you can't bully me." With that, Ye Xiaoyu slipped under the covers. Lin Feng looked at Ye Xiaoyu, who was already in bed, and wanted to say something, but then he heard Ye Xiaoyu say softly, "Aren't you coming in quickly? After saying that, Ye Xiaoyu turned her back to him. Lin Feng felt a little embarrassed, but he eventually got into bed, gently placing one hand on Ye Xiaoyu's slender waist. Lin Feng could feel Ye Xiaoyu's entire body tremble slightly. Seeing that Ye Xiaoyu didn't speak, Lin Feng didn't take his hand away, and for a moment, the room was silent. "Lin Feng, can you move a little closer? There's a gap in the middle and wind will come in," Ye Xiaoyu said in a low voice, her voice like a mosquito's. This was her first time sleeping in the same bed with a man. "Oh, okay. Lin Feng nodded, then pressed himself against Ye Xiaoyu's body. Ye Xiaoyu's body exuded a maidenly fragrance, and her shampoo smelled very good. Lin Feng's head rested against Ye Xiaoyu's back. They didn't speak, but Lin Feng could hear Ye Xiaoyu's heartbeat. "That, Lin Feng," Ye Xiaoyu spoke again after a while. "What's wrong, Ye Xiaoyu?" Lin Feng asked. "Can you control yourself? You're that is pressing against me," Ye Xiaoyu said awkwardly. Lin Feng. He felt a bit socially mortified, yet the more he tried to make it calm down, the more it wouldn't. This made Lin Feng extremely awkward. Ye Xiaoyu turned around at this moment to face Lin Feng. The main light in the room was already off, and only the bedside lamp emitted a faint glow. At this point, Ye Xiaoyu turned around to face Lin Feng, and neither of them spoke. "When you boys sleep in the same bed with a girl, do you also try every possible way to eat that girl?" Ye Xiaoyu said softly, a slight smile on her face, looking at Lin Feng. "Well, not entirely." Lin Feng's tone carried a hint of embarrassment. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu hooked her arms around Lin Feng's neck and kissed his lips. They kissed passionately, and after a long time, they finally released each other. Ye Xiaoyu slowly extended a fair, jade-like slender hand and gently reached downwards. The moment her fingers touched Lin Feng's body, Lin Feng trembled violently, involuntarily gasping, as if an electric current had spread throughout his body. Ye Xiaoyu's delicate face flushed slightly with shyness. She looked up at Lin Feng with a hint of apology, whispering in a voice as soft as a mosquito's, "I told you before that we would have to wait until we got married too. But ever since I agreed to come home with you for New Year's, I've actually known in my heart that our relationship couldn't wait any longer." Hearing Ye Xiaoyu's words, Lin Feng's throat involuntarily bobbed, and he softly called out, "Ye Xiaoyu." However, before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Ye Xiaoyu. Ye Xiaoyu playfully chided, "Don't talk, quickly turn off the light. This is my first time, and people say a girl's first time hurts a lot. So you must be gentle with me later." After saying these words, Ye Xiaoyu seemed too shy to face Lin Feng anymore, and her entire body gently nestled into Lin Feng's broad and warm embrace. Lin Feng, as told, reached out and extinguished the bedside lamp. In an instant, the once bright room plunged into complete darkness. In this tranquil darkness, the sound of their conversation could no longer be heard, only their increasingly heavy and urgent breaths intertwined, rising and falling, like an intimate and moving symphony. The next morning, as the sky was just beginning to lighten, Lin Feng slowly woke up. He gently turned his head, and found that Ye Xiaoyu next to him was still deep in a sweet dream. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu was curled up like a cute kitten, holding herself tightly, a sight that made one feel pity and love. Her lips were slightly upturned, with a faint smile, as if she was having an incredibly wonderful dream. Lin Feng gazed at Ye Xiaoyu in her sleep, and his own lips unconsciously curved into a gentle smile. Recalling the events of last night, even at this moment, Lin Feng still felt as if he were in a dream, so beautiful yet unreal. He subconsciously tightened his arms around Ye Xiaoyu, as if wanting to keep this happiness by his side forever. After a while, Lin Feng slowly released Ye Xiaoyu from his embrace and carefully got out of bed, afraid of waking the sleeping beauty. He picked up his phone from the bedside, lit up the screen, and saw that it was already 6:30 in the morning. According to his usual habits, his mother Lin should have already been up preparing breakfast by this time. However, due to a special custom in their hometown, for the 5 days from the 1st to the 5th day of the Lunar New Year, women were not allowed to do housework. All household chores had to be handled by the men. Moreover, Father Lin's body had not fully recovered after his surgery, so these tasks naturally fell to Lin Feng. Looking at Ye Xiaoyu's face, how could Lin Feng bear to disturb her sweet dream? He quietly got out of bed, tiptoed to remove the cloth Ye Xiaoyu was lying on, and after washing up, went downstairs to make breakfast. Breakfast was simple. The glutinous rice balls he and Mother Lin had made yesterday. First, he boiled water in a pot, then put the glutinous rice balls in. Once all the glutinous rice balls floated to the surface, they were ready. He first scooped one into a bowl and placed it in the main hall, with a pair of chopsticks laid across the bowl. Immediately after, he set off firecrackers. As the fuse was lit, the crackling sound of firecrackers was incessant, waking Lin Yu, who was still asleep. "Oh my, who is setting off firecrackers so early?" Lin Yu muttered in a low voice, rubbing her somewhat messy hair. Ye Xiaoyu was also woken up by Lin Feng's firecrackers. She rubbed her eyes and saw that Lin Feng had already gotten up. Thinking of what happened last night and seeing that the cloth she had been lying on was gone, a blush immediately appeared on Ye Xiaoyu's face. Ye Xiaoyu wanted to get up, but her lower body was vaguely aching. She had no choice but to lie back on the bed and take out her phone. Ye Xiaoyu hadn't looked at her phone since last night. Now that she had time, she opened it to find her sister's group chat bustling with activity. They had a good chat yesterday. "Sisters, guess what I'm doing right now? I'm currently merging with Shuang's male god, tilde." She clicked on the voice message sent by Quen Chinese letter. Her voice was very sexy and her breathing was very rapid. After what happened yesterday, Ye Xiaoyu naturally knew what Quen Chinese letter was up to. Min, you are too shameless," sexy little Lolita said angrily at this moment. Ye Xiaoyu was also speechless. She hadn't noticed how Min was like this when they were in school. With such a seemingly pure appearance, she didn't expect her to be so wild in private. Continuing to scroll down, it was all sexy little Lolita, an invincible pretty girl ganging up on Quen Chinese letter. Quen Chinese letter even took a full nude photo of herself and the man and posted it in the group, which left Ye Xiaoyu speechless, and she quickly deleted the picture. "Dear sisters, this man is amazing. It's been an hour and he's not done yet, and he has so many moves. If any of you want him, I can lend him to you for 2 days. Finally, Quen Chinese letter sent another voice message. This sentence again drew a barrage of furious comments from invincible pretty girl and sexy little Lolita. "Where's Xiaoyu? Why isn't Xiaoyu speaking?" After chatting for a while, sexy little Lolita asked. "Xiaoyu is of course with her husband. Oh, by the way, Xiaoyu should have gone back to Lin Feng's home with Lin Feng today, right?" At this time, the two of them might be doing something unspeakable. This time it wasn't Quen Chinese letter who spoke, but invincible pretty girl. "Xiaoyu, if you see this, I'll give you a piece of advice. Take it easy the first time, or you might not be able to get out of bed the next day," Quen Chinese letter said at this moment. Seeing this message, Ye Xiaoyu was speechless, and even felt a little regretful now. Why hadn't she seen this message yesterday? "Brother, where's sister-in-law?" Downstairs, Father Lin, Mother Lin, and Lin Yu had already gotten up, washed, and were sitting around the table eating breakfast. Lin Yu, seeing that Ye Xiaoyu hadn't come down yet, asked Lin Feng. "Hey Tilda, don't call her. It's rare to have the new year, let her sleep a bit longer." Seeing Lin Feng about to go upstairs to call Ye Xiaoyu, Mother Lin quickly stopped him. After finishing breakfast, Lin Feng washed the dishes and went upstairs. "Sister, Happy New Year. You don't know, this year, because you went back to brother-in-law's home with him for the new year, our uncles and aunts here almost started arguing over the company's annual dividends." At this time Ye Xiaoyu and Ye Xiaofen were exchanging messages. "What happened in the end?" Ye Xiaoyu asked. "In the end, Sister Xiaotong made the final decision." Ye Xiaofen replied, "You didn't see it, but Sister Xiaotong was truly domineering last night. She was no less impressive than you were back then, older female cousin." Although Ye Xiaoyu was the chairperson of the Ye group, it was still a family business, and several of Ye Xiaoyu's uncles and aunts held some shares in the Ye group. Every New Year's Eve, the Ye family would gather together, partly to celebrate the new year, but most importantly for the year-end dividends. In the past, Ye Xiaoyu would preside over these matters. Although some might grumble about who got more or less, with Ye Xiaoyu in charge in previous years, even if there was dissatisfaction, these uncles and aunts dared not show it. This year, because Ye Xiaoyu accompanied Lin Feng home for the new year, this task was entrusted to Ye Xiaotong, with her parents assisting. As a result, without Ye Xiaoyu's presence, those uncles and aunts began to cause trouble. One said his dividend was less this year, another said he should get more. One said his son was going to study abroad next year and asked if he could get a little more. Another said he had just bought a villa for his child in the city center and demanded a higher dividend. Second uncle said third uncle's dividend was too much. Third uncle said fourth aunt's shares were so much less than his, but she got more money. Some even played the emotional card, hoping Ye Xiaoyu would add a little more, and as they talked, their voices grew louder. Eventually, they almost got into a fight on New Year's Eve. Ye Xiaoyu's parents watched all this, feeling a bit helpless, as they had no experience with such matters. Just as the situation was getting out of control, Ye Xiaoyu stood up. She slammed the table and coldly looked at everyone. Since you believe this dividend distribution is unreasonable, then all accounts will be sealed today. You can discuss it with older female cousin when she returns. Sister, how are things on your end? Ye Xiaoyu asked at this moment. I'm having a wonderful time at your brother-in-law's house, Ye Xiaoyu replied. Last night I helped your brother-in-law make glutinous rice balls, and we set off fireworks and firecrackers. It was so much fun. Yes, at the very least, the people here, Father Lin, Mother Lin, and even Lin Yu were very good to her. From the first day of the Lunar New Year to the 5th, Ye Xiaoyu spent it with Lin Feng at his old home. These 5 days were the happiest Ye Xiaoyu had ever experienced. Early on the 6th day, after Ye Xiaoyu and Lin Feng finished breakfast, they prepared to leave. Xiaoyu, Lenore, take these sausages and cured meats with you to eat. And these lion's head meatballs, I see Xiaoyu really likes them, so take more, Mother Lin said. Opening the trunk, it was already packed to the brim. Yet even so, Father Lin and Mother Lin continued to stuff more items into it. Mom, you should keep some of these lion's head meatballs for yourselves. Even if you don't eat them, Dad, and you still will, Lin Feng said helplessly to his parents, looking at the trunk overflowing with things. And these sausages and cured meats, you can buy them at the supermarket. You keep these yourselves to eat. These are homemade. How can anything from outside be as good as what's made at home? Mother Lin uttered a phrase that all parents worldwide would say. Besides, we have plenty of these at home. Why waste money on them? Meanwhile, Lin Yu embraced Ye Xiaoyu, her face full of reluctance. For these 5 days, Ye Xiaoyu and Lin Yu had been inseparable. Sometimes, they wouldn't even come back for meals, and their phones would be unreachable. Sister-in-law, you must come back often when you have time, Lin Yu whispered, hugging Ye Xiaoyu. Okay, when your brother and I have time, we'll definitely come back. And when you have time or a break, you can come to Magic City. Your sister-in-law will take you to eat delicious food then, Ye Xiaoyu also said softly. Xiaoyu, don't work so hard normally. Pay more attention to rest, Mother Lin said to Ye Xiaoyu, coming to her side. I know, Mom. Actually, you and Dad can come to Magic City, so Lin Feng and I can properly show our filial piety to you, Ye Xiaoyu said to Mother Lin at this moment. Haha, child, your parents appreciate your thoughtfulness. You and Lin Feng are so busy normally, how would you have time to accompany us? Besides, Yu has one more semester before her college entrance exam. We need to take care of her, Mother Lin said with a smile, then pulled Ye Xiaoyu aside. Dad, you must take good care of yourself. If anything happens, don't hesitate, call me immediately, Lin Feng said, looking at his father with concern and earnestly admonishing him after tidying all the luggage. Father Lin smiled, reached out, and gently patted Lin Feng's arm, responding earnestly, Don't worry, child, Dad will take good care of himself. But as for you, out there making your way, you must be careful in everything and take good care of yourself. Then he continued with satisfaction, I really didn't expect it, my Lin Feng is so promising now. Not only is he successful in his career, but he also married a beautiful and virtuous wife like Xiaoyu. At this point, Father Lin turned to his daughter-in-law, Xiaoyu, his eyes full of affection and admiration, and continued to say to Lin Feng, Lenore, Xiaoyu is a good girl who's hard to find even with a lantern. In the future, when you live your life, you must cherish her more, give in to her some, and never quarrel or argue with her, understand? Also, you too work hard and try to bring back a chubby, healthy, big grandson for your mother and me when you come home next year. Ha! Hearing his father's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but grin and retorted with a hint of teasing, Dad, that's a bit unfair, isn't it? Why are you only thinking about having a grandson? Is it not okay to have a chubby little granddaughter? After speaking, he playfully winked at his father. Hearing Lin Feng say this, Father Lin was slightly stunned at first, then burst into hearty and unrestrained laughter. Silly boy, Whether it's a boy or a girl, as long as it's your child, your mother and I will love them from the bottom of our hearts. But, since you said so, then you'll have to work even harder to make us grandparents sooner. Ha ha ha. Dad, you two must take good care of yourselves. There's some money in this card. Your son is not the same as before. He can earn a lot of money, so you and Mom don't need to save on food and clothing, and you don't need to work anymore. You can live the life you want to live. Take this money back for now. The money you gave last time hasn't been used up yet. Your old man won't be polite with you. I'll ask you for more when it's spent, Father Lin said with a smile. Yes, with such an excellent son, your parents won't work and will rely on their son for retirement. At this moment, Ye Xiaoyu and Mother Lin had also finished their conversation. Lin Feng and Ye Xiaoyu reluctantly waved goodbye to his parents and Lin Yu. As Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator, the car instantly disappeared from Father Lin and Mother Lin's sight. Oh right, Xiaoyu, what did Mom pull you aside to tell you? On the way, Lin Feng asked curiously to Ye Xiaoyu in the passenger seat while driving. I won't tell you, Ye Xiaoyu said with a smile. As she spoke, Ye Xiaoyu raised her right hand in front of Lin Feng and said, Look, this is what Mom just gave me. It was a jade bracelet, supposedly given to his mother by his grandmother when she married his father. Now, this jade bracelet had been passed to Ye Xiaoyu, which also indicated that his mother had already accepted Ye Xiaoyu as her daughter-in-law. Oh right, what did Dad tell you? I saw you two father and son chatting and laughing, Ye Xiaoyu asked Lin Feng at this moment. What Dad told me is pretty much the same as what Mom told you, Lin Feng said mysteriously. As if you know what Mom told me, Ye Xiaoyu of course didn't believe him. Lin Feng smiled and said nothing, but when they encountered a red light, Lin Feng whispered something into Ye Xiaoyu's ear, making Ye Xiaoyu's entire face blush, looking very cute. Oh right, call Xiao Fan, tell him to come over, Lin Feng asked Ye Xiaoyu as they were about to reach Magic City. Why call him? Ye Xiaoyu was a bit confused. You'll know when we get home, Lin Feng said with a smile. I knew there was no good reason for you two to look for me. Ye Xiaofan grumbled helplessly, still carrying 7 or 8 bulging bags, his eyes full of resentment as he looked at Ye Xiaoyu standing beside him and her brother-in-law. He shook his head, sighed, and said, I say, sis and brother-in-law, can't you two be less excessive? Why do you always grab me and make me work so hard whenever there's something to do? You're practically trying to kill me. Ye Xiaoyu rolled her eyes at him, quickly walked to the sofa, plopped down, and then gestured wildly as she shouted at Ye Xiaofan, Stop rambling. I called you here just to help carry some things. What's with all the nonsense? Hurry up. Then she added, Make sure you look carefully. Some of these things need to go in the freezer, and some in the fridge. Don't get them mixed up. Although Ye Xiaofan was very unwilling, he still started to busy himself according to his sister's instructions. He first carefully placed some of the food into the freezer, then gently put the rest into the refrigerator. This whole operation took him over 10 minutes until everything was finally put away properly. Lin Feng checked the time and saw that it was already past 11 o'clock. He quickly tied on an apron and started preparing lunch. Meanwhile, Ye Xiaoyu turned her head and saw Ye Xiaofan, who had just finished and was about to catch his breath, actually plopped down on the sofa. She couldn't help but frown and ask in confusion, Hey, what are you doing sitting here? All the things are moved, aren't you going to leave quickly? Are you waiting to be served a meal? Ye Xiaofan was completely bewildered, standing there like a wooden chicken. However, he wasn't the only one feeling bewildered. Lin Feng, who was busy in the kitchen at the moment, also had a similarly dumbfounded expression. Ye Xiaoyu had summoned Ye Xiaofan with a single phone call to help move things. Ye Xiaofan toiled and sweated, barely managing to move all the items. Just as he sat down with a sigh of relief, he didn't expect Ye Xiaoyu to mercilessly start chasing him away. Her change of attitude was faster than flipping a book. Ye Xiaofan felt so wronged, and Lin Feng also felt a bit of sympathy for Xiaofan. He racked his brains, but couldn't understand how Ye Xiaofan had offended his sister when they were young, to the point that Ye Xiaoyu now treated him with such disdain. Thinking of this, Lin Feng looked at Ye Xiaofan. He wasn't sure if it was an illusion, but he saw that Ye Xiaofan's eyes seemed to be red, with tears welling up, almost about to spill out. No, Ye Xiaoyu, you're going too far. I treat you like my own sister, but you're treating me like a distant cousin. How can you do things this way? Even a small dog shouldn't be treated like this. Ye Xiaofan could no longer suppress the anger and grievance in his heart. In his emotional state, he even stopped addressing Ye Xiaoyu as sister and called her by her full name. Just then, Lin Feng quickly walked out of the kitchen, a gentle smile on his face, and quickly comforted him,